everybody, and welcome to episode 6 of Top of the Tower. Told you I'd be switching it up, and that's just what we're going to do. Happy Veterans Day, and we appreciate all those who serve our armed forces, whether it be the Marines, the Navy, Army, Air Force, Coast Guard, whatever, Homeland Security, whatever it may be. Special episode, and I appreciate everybody joining us. We are into November, and we are into the fourth quarter, and I've got on the phone with me from the WIA, or Wireless Infrastructure Association, Tim House. How you doing today, Tim?
I'm doing great, old friend. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, and welcome to the show, and I appreciate you taking the time to join us here, and good stuff. A lot of things going on in wireless. The iPhone 12 was launched, and good stuff going on with it, and that'll sure spark the industry, don't you think?
I really do. I think you've had a number of organizations sort of scratching the surface in terms of their investment and build out of 5G, and I think as we saw with 4G, advances in these devices can sort of propel and advance and speed up deployment.
Let's just start off and let's talk about your role and what you do at WIA. I met you when you first came on board, and you knew that I was kind of a freelance videographer that had been capturing moments of the Wireless Infrastructure Association and so on and so forth. But with that being said, when did you start with WIA? And you came from the Discovery Channel. Tell us a little bit about that and your transition and how you got to WIA.
You have a great memory. So, one of the first persons that I met in the industry, I actually was a consultant to then PCIA back in 2006. And, I was just taking a look at their event and ways to improvement and things like that. So we go a long way back, but I spent about a decade at the Discovery Communications, actually, which was Discovery Channel, TLC, and a number of other networks, where I worked in advertising and promotion. I worked in their in-house ad agency and had a number of roles, ultimately landing in consumer products, where I helped build a licensing business, which was taking their hit shows and creating multiple product lines around those hit shows. So Monster Garage and Trading Spaces and American Chopper and things like that. If you ever saw a toy line or a clothing line or, any other number of things around those hit shows, that was something I had a great hand in. And then after leaving Discovery, I think in 2004, I spent a couple of years as a consultant to multiple advertising marketing firms and things like that, and landed a small gig consulting with PCIA at the time on a campaign that they had. And it was funny. I gave them the strategy around, building websites and things like that. But back then, which was, somewhat new.
Absolutely.
And they followed me out into the elevator and asked me if I wanted a job. And here I am 14 years later.
Wow. And what a ride. I mean, 14 years, you got to see us come from 2G, from literally voice, and into 3G, or some call evolution data optimization, or EVDO, or 1RXTT, or UMTS, and then watch us go into the next, what we're in right now, 4G, and then trying to develop 5G. But, it's, and Tim, we try to tell everybody, nothing to be alarmed what 5G is. It's just an overlay to the existing network as it stands.
That's it. In its purest sense, it's just the next generation of wireless. And we are going to prepare for 5G and all that comes with it. And over time, there'll be the next generation, which will be the sixth generation. So it's nothing, like you said, nothing to be intimidated about, something to be very excited about, as our industry has incredible innovation and is a catalyst for so many other industries. So we're, we couldn't be in a better and more privileged position, as far as I'm concerned, at WIA, representing these types of innovative companies and making sure that we can deliver wireless to more people in more places all over this country, and to be a model for the rest of the world is, like I said, a great privilege.
Workforce development, I've been trying to spread the word, and you didn't know it. I'll just go ahead and tell you, as you know, I'm a broadcaster in high school football and have relationships with high school football coaches throughout the United States. And I've literally been taking the tweet that talks about that we're looking for individuals, we're looking for people that want to get into the workforce development, or maybe college isn't for them, and we can train them up. You have these means, and you're in the middle of some things going on at Wireless Infrastructure Association this week, right off the wireless blog. Please tell us a little bit about that.
Sure, thank you. The number one thing to kind of grab as a concept is that this industry is new. In the grand scheme of things, it's a new industry.
Absolutely.
And training and education for those people that want to enter our industry is not widely available. You can't go to, four-year institutions typically to learn about careers in wireless. And so we kind of acknowledged that back in the 2012, 2013 timeframe, and started to create programs internally that would address that issue. The skills gap, as we call it, is very real. And so part of what we had to do is create a set of fundamental courses or training that could be available to people within the industry. And we worked with subject matter experts. We actually tapped academia to consult on how to create these programs. And, we've got at this point now 30 some odd courses in what we've coined our Telecommunications Education Center, or TEC. Now, if you take that and put it on a shelf and say, okay, so that's the learning part of this, we wanted to also create a career pathway that didn't exist in our industry. So we looked at the time-tested model of apprenticeship, which basically is earn while you learn. And we wanted to promote that. So we invested, collaborated with, 10 to 12 companies to forge what's called the Telecommunications Industry Registered Apprenticeship Program. And under that, we became the national sponsor in 2017, and then onboarded 33 companies, and now over 2,500 apprentices in the industry. And for being a new initiative within telecommunications, that is a really impressive number. And we just want to expand upon that, engage more companies, and become evangelists for this time-tested career pathway. I mean, I think about when I got into the workforce generally, when I was 15 years and 9 months, I started in construction. And I was a blue-collar, lower middle-class family. And so construction was where it was at for me. And I was fortunate enough to work with people who had a lot more experience than me. And at the very beginning, I could go out and, very physical labor, hump some bricks this way, hump some, shingles another way, and that kind of thing. But when you start to use a hammer and a nail gun and a screw gun, and you learn from these guys, and they give you a hard time and push you and that kind of thing. But you get better at it, and they show you the right way. And over the years, you become very proficient in it. And it's the same kind of concept here in our industry, maybe a little bit more advanced than humping bricks and shingles, but same basic concept. I'm going to be on the job. I'm going to learn from somebody who really knows what they're doing, who can show me how to do it the right way, how to do it the safe way. And I can see myself in a career in this industry. So this week is National Apprenticeship Week. So we're celebrating that. We're celebrating that time-tested concept of earning while you learn, and we're promoting it and letting people know that WIA is at the forefront of this for our industry. We want to collaborate. We want to help you start programs within your own industry. Within your own company. And we'll provide all the resources that you need from an administrative standpoint to get started and to see it through. And in fact, we have now, after many years of sort of working closely with the Department of Labor, access to financial resources to offset training costs, and other administrative costs associated with this program. So up to $400,000 under one program, which is this very recently announced contract, and access to other resources as needed.
So, like if we had somebody that wanted to get involved in telecommunications, and let's say that they're a graduating senior and got a pretty good head on their shoulders, feel like this is something they want to get involved with, what would we tell somebody, or somebody runs into us and they say, Stork, you're involved in telecom. You've been involved in it a long time. How do we get involved? I mean, what would I do, or where would I send them? And do I just send them right to the WIA, or do I take that link I've been tweeting? I mean, what is the right protocol for me to get somebody who is interested and wants to get involved in what we do?
Well, that's a great question. And you mentioned they just graduated. It would depend on whether they just graduated from high school or from college.
Right. I'm aware of that. Right.
But separately from that, let's take all of that and put it aside. What we would try and do is work with an employer wherever this individual was. So
right.
We have employers all across the country, and we would match them up in a given region.
Are these when you stop right there? When you say employers, they don't have to be a member of WIA. Let's say I run a construction company. It's legit. It's located in Atlanta, Georgia, or whatever. Could I get in touch with you and say I'm looking for people, or I need good people, or I'm willing to take one of these people on? Is that something you're looking for, or am I going down the right road? Talk to me.
Yeah, you've got it. So you don't have to be a member, although, my goodness, the number of benefits you get from being a member.
I'm not, I didn't want to get into the membership drive committee. I mean, even though Jonathan probably wants me on it, I'll admit, but go ahead.
Well, so from that standpoint, you don't have to be a member. What you have to do is become part of the program. So you would register with the association. I would put you in touch with one of our incredible members of the workforce development team, most likely Deb Bennett, who's our director of apprenticeship.
Right.
And she would get you registered within that program. That gets you access to a number of different benefits, including state funding, local funding for workforce development within your company. Also allows you to access federal funding for those same purposes.
Well, and so you would be a fool not to join it, because even if you didn't access it, why wouldn't you be a part of it? Because you don't know what work's coming in, or you don't know what you might be faced with as 5G develops.
Well, I think that's right. And so what we would try and do is match up a registered occupation that we have. Right now we have 9, we've got another 4 in development, and find a what amounts to pre-apprenticeship training. So that could be classroom or a combination of classroom and on-the-job learning, um, and encourage you to put that kind of time in, get your employee into those learning systems, and then learn while you're on the job. And we would do regular check-ins, make sure that you are progressing along the line of what is prescribed by a registered apprenticeship. And then at the end of your, let's say we had prescribed 180 hours or something along those
Right.
lines. We would sort of document that progress, make sure that we are working with the employer, and you would receive a certificate for achieving the hours, and you would be an apprenticeship.
And you would adjust and go as it changes, job description and whatever. Add this, take away that, whatever it needs, as it fits the job, as whatever fits the task or whatever they're trying to do. Whether it be survey work, and everybody thinks that in the tower business we're going up. There's a lot of stuff that happens on the ground. I mean, I've been involved with it since 1995, and I've never climbed a tower, but everybody thinks you're going up. It's not all about going up, is it?
No, that's exactly right. And it's part of what we will be addressing here over the next several years, is expanding the occupation availability within the program. So currently we have a lot of sort of field technician on the tower occupations, but we realize that's not for everybody.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And so we've been adding fiber optic technician and other types of roles that are still field related, but we'll be adding over time a lot more of these positions that are office bound, or a combination of office bound and field, looking at site development, site acquisition, project management, those types of things.
COVID's really jacked our T&E, our what we kind of do in how we go about the business, and a lot of people do use the SWAP, the State Wireless Association programs, and what we've developed there over the years. And in fact, I was standing right there when the first State Wireless Association was ever done. It was done in Tennessee, and I've been a part of it ever since. But it's really moved us around, and it comes to question, and I hate to put you on the spot, but it is what it is. More than likely, based on what we know today, we're probably looking at another a virtual year if you're on the front end of this COVID. We may be able to dash into place on a last minute to pull some things together on a regional basis, but it's going to be really hard to lock down and do some things. What are you guys kind of thinking, if you don't mind me looking underneath the hood?
Well, you may know that we moved our huge event,
Yep.
the Connectivity Expo, or ConnectX, to the first week in August.
Right.
Of this year, and that's kind of based upon all that we know right now related to this. I agree with you. Things are changing every day. Sometimes you get some very positive news, and other times you look at the reality that this thing is surging right now, and we don't have an effective solution for calming this down on scale.
Right.
We all know social distancing and masks and things like that are supposed to work, but the reality is this is surging. So we're doing everything that we can to encourage another in-person meeting here in August, if it's safe.
Right.
And given the news around the vaccine and potentially, you know, a different approach towards safety and distancing and wearing masks, we could get there.
Yeah, we
But I
could.
agree with you.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know, we're looking to engage people in as many ways as we can virtually to never lose that connection between us and our members, our industry, our constituents, attendees, exhibitors, sponsors, and so forth.
well, it's slowed down a little bit, but telecom has not come to a complete halt. Other industries have come to a complete halt. I mean, I was fortunate over the year, and you saw me. I mean, I was able to stack some steel over the summer and had a real good run of that. But, right now, until we get this handset into that the carriers can deploy the handsets into the consumer's hands, a new 2-year agreement is done. That'll lock customers down, move them over into what we call the 5G pool, out of the 4G pool. And even though, they may not be on a 5G wherever they're located or whatever, it's so important to the carrier because that's how they invest. They invest off their database or ARPU, average revenue per user, and that's how they, if you've got 118, it's real simple. You got 118 million customers, you got an average revenue per user of $55. You grow the ARPU $1, you just made $118. I mean, it's not real hard mathematics, but with 5G, we are looking to really increase the data usage, which will cause consumers to spend more and make our industry that much more better, won't it?
I think that's right. And I think you'll find new efficiencies and innovative ways to connect. And we found that, this connectivity is so critically important, and it's been underscored certainly during this pandemic, that I think you're going to see this forging of new ways to connect using the next generation of wireless. Um, and when you look at sectors like transportation
Mm-hmm.
and healthcare and education, this pandemic has kind of, I think, allowed us to look back and say, how can we do it better?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's one of my topics later on because, with the end, we want to strive to get to the best. I mean, because with internet usage increasing 40% since this thing hit, it's just forced us to rely more so on what we carry every day, and that's a wireless smartphone.
Nope.
Well, Tim, anything else going on at WIA? Anything we can look forward to between now and the end of the year?
Well, I think you're going to see more of the same related to workforce development, in the sense that this contract that we have with the Department of Labor, which is, um, you know, transformative for us in the sense that we're able to bring on a lot of new experts to help us expand the program. And one component of this contract, which I commend the department for, is that 50% of all new apprentices have to be from underrepresented populations. So it is a requirement that the association work with employers to do the kind of outreach that attracts veterans and women and people of color into our industry. And so that's exciting for me. So putting together programs that will do that, and to have the kind of outcomes that the department is looking for. It actually is exciting to me. I know it's a heck of a requirement to meet, but I love the challenge.
Anything else you would like to add? And I appreciate you. I can't thank you enough for participating with me on Top of the Tower. And I have to ask you, and I hate to put you on the spot, but would you come back?
Oh, always.
Okay,
Like I
okay.
said, You're the first person I met in this industry, so call me anytime. I'm happy to talk.
But anything else you would like to add, and or anything you'd like to say as you guys continue on doing what you're doing for the next 45 days as we try to get through 2020?
Well, at its heart, WIA, of course, is a advocacy organization.
Yes.
And so, our team, our entire organization is pretty excited about the prospect of, working with a new set of, um, members of Congress and the new administration eventually, and so forth. Um, I expect that there is going to be a grand effort, and whether it's through the quote unquote lame duck um, administration or the new administration, to put stimulus out there for those people that have been just devastated by this pandemic. And so we're hoping to play a part in whatever it is that is put out there to make sure that our voice is heard, and by extension, all of our members' voice is heard, our industry's voice is heard, related to workforce development, related to advancing telecommunications and 5G. And so, between now and let's call it the new year, and certainly into the new year,
Right.
we're going to be incredibly busy being effective advocates, as we have always been.
Tim, we can't thank you enough for joining us, and I'll get with you, and we'll get together or whatnot. But can't thank you enough for joining us on Top of the Tower, and stay safe, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much, and appreciate you for doing what you do, and keep it going.
All right, I appreciate you. Thanks a lot, Tim.